Welcome back, survivalists. You know, out there in the wild, preparation is everything. You can't predict when a flash flood's gonna hit or a blizzard's gonna trap you on a mountain. That's why we always pack for the worst. Now, back in civilization, it's no different. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, knows this, and they've got a specific list of items they want every American household to have ready for any kind of disaster, man-made or natural. This ain't about roughing it in the wilderness. This is about keeping your family safe and sound when disaster strikes at home. We're talking tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, pandemics, the lot. Today, we're going to run through each of these essential items FEMA wants you to have in your emergency kit. I'll give you my take on them, and by the end, you'll be ready for anything. Right. First up, the big one, water. FEMA recommends 1 gallon per person per day for at least 3 days. Trust me, that's the bare minimum. Out in the desert, I've learned the hard way how quickly dehydration can take you down. Now, this water isn't just for drinking. It's for cooking, cleaning wounds, and sanitation, all vital when the taps run dry. Imagine a family of 5. That's 15 gallons of water you need to store. Sounds like a lot, right? But trust me, it's a small price to pay for survival. Now, you can buy bottled water, but I always recommend having some large, durable containers you can refill. You never know how long you might be without access to fresh water. Store them in a cool, dark place, and remember to rotate your stock every 6 months to ensure freshness. Remember, water is life, and in an emergency, it's your most precious resource. Don't skimp on this one. Next up, we gotta talk about keeping your energy levels up. FEMA recommends having a 3-day supply of non-perishable food for every member of your family. That means food that doesn't require cooking or refrigeration. Think canned goods like beans, soup, and vegetables. They last for ages and provide essential nutrients. MREs, or meals ready to eat, are another great option. They're designed for long-term storage and are packed with calories to keep you going. And don't forget about freeze-dried meals. They're lightweight, compact, and can last for years. Just add water and you've got yourself a hot meal. Remember, variety is key. No one wants to eat the same thing for days on end. So choose foods that you and your family enjoy. And don't forget about snacks. Trail mix, granola bars, and dried fruit are all great options. Keep your food supplies in airtight containers and store them in a cool, dry place. Remember, a well-fed survivalist is a strong survivalist. In a crisis, information is power. And when the power goes out, your smartphone's not going to be much use, is it? That's where a good old-fashioned emergency radio comes in. FEMA recommends having a battery-powered or hand-crank radio on hand. And trust me, this isn't just some outdated piece of tech. A good emergency radio will pick up AM/FM broadcasts, NOAA weather alerts, and even have a built-in flashlight. Now, I'm all about self-sufficiency, so I always opt for a radio with a hand crank. That way, even if your batteries die, you can still power up and stay informed. Some models even have solar panels and USB ports so you can charge your other devices. Look for a radio that's compact, durable, and easy to use. And don't forget to test it regularly to make sure it's in good working order, because when the grid goes down, you'll be glad you can still connect with the outside world. Out in the wild, I've stitched myself up more times than I can count. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a wilderness medic, but having a well-stocked first aid kit is crucial in any emergency. FEMA recommends having a basic kit that includes bandages, antiseptic wipes, pain relievers, gauze, antibiotic ointment, and any personal medications you might need. But listen, don't just buy a pre-made kit and forget about it. Take the time to familiarize yourself with the contents and how to use them. Practice basic first aid techniques like cleaning and dressing a wound. And remember, a first aid kit is only as good as its contents, so check it regularly and replace any expired items, because when injury strikes, you need to be ready to act quickly and decisively. It might seem small and insignificant, but a whistle can be a lifesaver in an emergency. Imagine being trapped under rubble after an earthquake, or lost in the woods after a storm. A whistle's high-pitched shriek can travel much farther than your voice, signaling for help when you need it most. Now, I always carry a whistle with me on my expeditions. It's lightweight, compact, and takes up virtually no space in my pack. Look for a whistle made from durable material like metal or high-impact plastic. And here's a pro-tip: practice using your whistle before you need it. Learn how to blow a loud, clear signal that will attract attention. Because when it comes to survival, being heard can mean the difference between life and death. We live in an unpredictable world, and these days it's more important than ever to be prepared for anything. That includes protecting yourself from airborne hazards like dust, smoke, and even viruses. FEMA recommends having dust masks on hand, especially if you live in an area prone to wildfires or other natural disasters. These masks provide basic filtration and can help protect your lungs from harmful particles. Now, if you want even greater protection, I recommend investing in N95 respirators. These masks offer a higher level of filtration and can protect you from a wider range of airborne particles. Remember, when it comes to breathing, don't take any chances. Make sure you have the right protection for yourself and your family. Now, this might sound extreme, but in a worst-case scenario, you might need to seal off your home from the outside world. Think chemical spills, radiological incidents, or even pandemics. That's where plastic sheeting and duct tape come in. FEMA recommends having enough plastic sheeting to seal off doors, windows, and other openings in your home. And trust me, duct tape is your best friend in a crisis. It's strong, durable, and can be used for a multitude of purposes. Now, I'm not saying you need to turn your home into a bunker, but having the ability to create a temporary seal can be a lifesaver. Store your plastic sheeting and duct tape in a dry, accessible location, and make sure everyone in your family knows where to find it. When disaster strikes and you're without running water, sanitation becomes a top priority. Trust me, I've learned this the hard way on countless expeditions. Poor sanitation can lead to the spread of disease, and that's the last thing you want in an already dire situation. FEMA recommends having moist towelettes, garbage bags, and plastic ties in your emergency kit for waste disposal. Moist towelettes are great for personal hygiene, while garbage bags and plastic ties can be used to contain waste and minimize odors. Now, here's a tip I've picked up from my time in the wild. Dig a latrine away from your living area. It's a simple solution, but it can make a world of difference in maintaining sanitation and preventing the spread of disease. Remember, good hygiene is crucial for survival, especially in an emergency. In an emergency, you never know what situations you might face. That's why having a few basic tools on hand is essential. FEMA recommends having a wrench or pliers in your emergency kit, and I couldn't agree more. Now, these tools can be used for a variety of tasks, from turning off utilities like gas or water to making minor repairs around the house. Imagine a gas leak after an earthquake or a burst pipe after a freeze. Having the right tool for the job could save your life. When choosing a wrench or pliers, opt for a sturdy multi-purpose tool that can handle a variety of tasks. And remember, knowledge is power. Take the time to learn how to safely turn off your utilities in case of an emergency. It seems obvious, but in the heat of the moment, you don't want to be caught short. You've got your stockpile of canned goods ready to fuel your survival, but then it hits you. You can't open them. A can opener, my friends, is a vital piece of kit. Don't rely on rusty old tools, or even worse, trying to pry open a can with a knife. Get yourself a dedicated, reliable can opener and store it with your emergency supplies. Trust me, when hunger strikes and you're relying on those canned beans for sustenance, you'll be thanking your lucky stars you packed that can opener. It's the little things we take for granted that can make all the difference in a survival situation. We've become so reliant on technology these days, but what happens when the power goes out and our smartphones are nothing but useless bricks? That's why FEMA recommends having a physical map of your local area in your emergency kit. Now, I'm talking about a good old-fashioned paper map, the kind you can unfold and trace your fingers along. Mark out evacuation routes, potential shelters, and the locations of hospitals and police stations. Familiarize yourself with your surroundings. Knowing your way around without relying on technology could be essential in an emergency. And hey, you never know. You might even discover some hidden gems in your own backyard. So ditch the GPS, embrace the lost art of map reading, and prepare to navigate the unknown. So there you have it. Those are the 11 essential items FEMA recommends for every emergency kit. Now these are just the basics, the foundation of your survival strategy. But remember, every situation is unique, so adapt your kit to your specific needs and your environment. Now I've been in enough tight spots to know that a few extra items can make all the difference. First off, cash is king, even in a crisis. Keep a stash of small bills and coins handy, as electronic transactions might not be possible. Next, a portable water filtration system is a game changer. Being able to source and purify water from natural sources could be vital. A box of rubber gloves is useful for hygiene and handling anything unsavory. And if you're comfortable handling fire responsibly, a propane camping stove can be a lifesaver for cooking and boiling water. These are just a few ideas, but remember, knowledge and preparation are your greatest assets. Thanks for joining me on this journey to preparedness. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next adventure.